Hello again, this is Vildra. I am back, this time with the speed build. I found this lot in Glimmerbrook that I decided to put it on because I like the area with all the pine trees and spruces and whatnots, which fit the original picture I started with. I found this, I think it was on a blog, many pictures of a restoration of an old hunting lodge or cabin, really small, that I wanted to recreate. It was small and everything was white. It was on a hillside and I was trying to make a sort of a hilltop here, and I've never used the terrain tools like this before. I've only used terrain paint basically. So I struggled a bit with this. Things happen very fast when you use the terrain tools, but, well, this is my first try, so it is how it is. It was supposed to be a forest lodge, so I will cover almost the entire lot with trees later on. When I started, it was summer, and of course I wanted it to be winter because and that was the whole point of it. It was supposed to be Christmassy. And also the layout of the original lodge was that at the back it was the width of a love seat basically, and there was a fireplace and a sofa there and a small table, and at the front there was a very small dining table with one chair, and on top of the dining area there was a loft the size of a bed. And it took a while before I realized that there was neither kitchen nor bathroom in the original cottage, because it was sort of just like a hunting lookout place to begin with, so it was extremely small. I made it bigger from start because I realized I had to have a kitchen, so I needed room for that. So I did make it bigger, a lot bigger, twice as big to begin with. But it took a while before I realized that I haven't made any bathroom and there is no space for a bathroom. So I had to add a bathroom on the side later. But originally I wanted to keep it like it was on the pictures, which means it was kind of a low one-story house, and I built the first loft inside the roof. I just put flooring on top of the ceiling, sort of, and knocked out half of the ceiling. And I play tested it, and it did work that way. The lighting was weird, of course, because it was inside the roof, and also it was a bit difficult to place the furniture because they would stick out through the roof if you put stuff in the corners or too close to the walls. And I couldn't use wallpaper the way I wanted, and but it sort of worked, and I was set on keeping it like that until at the very end when I started putting up Christmas decorations, and then it looked really weird. So quite late in the build I decided to actually put in a second floor. But it was interesting to see that it actually works to build inside the roof without actually putting on a second floor. In the original, there were two porches, one front and one back. They were really small. The front one in the original had no fencing or anything. It had a couple of columns and some steps, a staircase. I had issues here with placing the staircases. I didn't figure out until after a while how to at all make any stairway up there. But it only had one chair, that was sort of all there was room for. And the back porch in the original was totally glazed in, and there was an awesome glass door and glass windows covering the whole back, which was about half the size, half the width of what it is in this house. The roofing looked like this, like you see now. It had a green roof and a green door, and basically everything else was white. And there was some flowers and plants and stuff inside, but everything was white. And white is the difficult color to work with in The Sims. Both, as you can see, the exterior of the house, it's not absolutely white. It's sort of yellowish, grayish, depending on light. And there was no matching roofs and doors with the same green color. So eventually I left the idea of having a green door and put in a white door, which you will see. But since everything is bigger, I put in 2 chairs and a table in the front porch, and I also put in some stuff at the back porch. When I started building this, it was, as you can see, summer. And since this was supposed to be a winter cottage, I wanted there to be snow. So I had to, once I got my playtester in, I had to wait for a very, very long time. I changed so to make the seasons the shortest possible, but I still had to go more than 2 weeks before it became winter. So I used it to have something to do, because this is a world where only my playtester lives, and I don't want to play her really, but I needed to do something to pass the time while I waited for it to be winter. I had her paint. So I actually put an easel in the back porch, and I had her paint from reference. So she painted the house, both the interior and the exterior, in different stages of the build, and I left those paintings on the walls. There are maybe a bit many of them, but they're easy to delete if you don't want them. I couldn't see in the pictures of the original that there was any sort of stairs or ladder, or I don't know how you were supposed to get up to the loft. Maybe they had a separate step ladder they brought out when it was time for bed, or maybe they never slept in there, because the original had no kitchen or bathroom. So I don't know how. It seemed more like a daytime thing that you visited during the day and then you went home. I don't see how you could live in there, really. I decided to go with fencing on both the porches instead of the totally open one on the front and the glazed in one at the back. And well, I started with these huge windows because the original was so small. There was one window next to the door, and then the whole wall was sort of full. But these walls were much bigger, so I didn't know quite what to do. But I will change these huge windows later because they were too much. But as you see here, I'm trying to pick a sofa. And the interior in the original was very romantic. It was very white and lacy and lots of fabric. There was a sofa that was sort of covered in white, some sort of white lacy fabric. And the curtains were very fluffy, and the bed was also totally covered in fluffy white bedspreads and lots of cushions and stuff. There aren't such items in the game, so I had to make concessions. And the roof, the start where I had the loft inside the roof meant that I couldn't put stuff in the corners because it would stick out through the roof, and I also couldn't put furniture as close to the walls as I wanted to because they would also stick out through the roofs. And the lighting was really weird. And of course I got the siding of the roof on the walls, which wasn't optimal either. But I think it was a good thing to change to making it 2 stories. But it turned out to be a much bigger house than I intended from the beginning. What else can I say about it? I had a lot of issues with the roofing on the back porch. Because since the game doesn't recognize the first floor as a room with half the ceiling knocked out, the eaves clipped into the house. So I found the only solution, and if I removed the eaves and made the back porch roof eaveless, so to speak, or minimal, it looked really weird because then the columns would be outside the roof. So I finally settled on making the roof slightly bigger on the outside instead of pulling out the eaves, because it was the only way to not make it clip. And I think I changed it many times, and I tried different roof types, but I had to have the half gabled one, I realized, and I ended up putting a small sort of square, almost tower looking roof in the corner. And as I said, I put an easel in the back porch. I'm not sure there are many. Yes, and I also put a knitting basket on the loft, and those are, I think, the only skill building items I've got in the cottage. You could change the table on the back porch to a chess table if you want to have more skill building items, and you could. I put a bench on one side of the back porch, the one that sticks out on the side. You could put a woodworking table there, or a flower arrangement table there, maybe. Since the lot is so, it's not flat, I don't have any planters in it. I did make a few flower plantations, as you can see later on in the video, but by the time I get to winter they will have wilted, of course, but mostly it's covered in trees, spruce and pine and whatnots. I think I won't talk that much more. I'll play you some music instead while you watch it. If you watch it, it's on the gallery. My origin ID is Vildra. You will. It said when I saved it that it is modded, but there is no CC in this game. The only CC I have 2 CC items in my game. One is eyelashes for my playtester, and the other is the red clutter shelf that I had in my inventory. I never used it, I think, but it says it's modded, so I don't know why, but there isn't any CC in it. You do need all the cheats though, move objects and entitlement unlocks, and I think there might be some debug items, so show hidden objects and show live edit objects probably also need to be on. I think I'll leave it at that, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one, and here's some music for you. Bye.
Can't get you out of my mind. It's like I feel it for the first time. Been thinking about you all night. I've been searching for this all my life. You're just my type. I've been looking for a boy who can treat me right. Your dark hair with those eyes so bright. They look into my soul and it sparks my life. Can I take you there? Like it was the first time, do you remember? Can I take you there? Back to when we felt like this was forever. Can I take you there? Like it was the first time, do you remember? Can I take you there? You're what I need. Can I take you there? Can I take you there? For the wrong guys, they keep telling me it's alright. How could I be so blind? I've been searching for this all my life. You're just my type. I've been looking for a boy who can treat me right. Your dark hair with those eyes so bright. They look into my soul and it sparks my life. Can I take you there? Like it was the first time, do you remember? Can I take you there? Back to when we felt like this was forever. Can I take you there? Like it was the first time, do you remember? Can I take you there? You're what I need. Can I take you there? Can I take you there? Take you there.